Welcome to the Ryan Runs thing on the Ryan Runs channel. I'm Ryan sitting. So I'm going to be honest, as I look at my notes here, I don't have a ton, and that's probably why you haven't seen one of these for a little bit, because as I break out, well, there's a number of reasons, but as I've broken out things into their own shows, I have different excuses for not doing those. But this one, the excuse is, what is it about now? So as I slowly figure that out, let me tell you, I've never had less for one of these. So you can still find the Daily Drum videos out there going up every day, every weekday. Haven't missed a day since. I've done a few in advance, so it makes it a little bit easier, but still, I'm up in the morning, I'm drumming, and it's become a daily blog of sorts, if I didn't mention that last time. So if you're not reading the descriptions, you're not getting the whole picture, even though for the most part, good music. So there's no wrong way. I do always feel like I'm inches away from pulling the trigger on streaming Tuesdays at 10, is what I'm gonna call it, and when I'm gonna do it. Whether that's 10 a.m. or 10 p.m., I think it could be either, because also it'll go up to the archive after the fact. So I feel like I'm close, and I'm at least close enough to know where to start, because that's always been a consideration, and I think I'm going to start at the beginning. So that tells you nothing, but it will be something old. You're not surprised. Chasers and gameplay, for that matter, the ever elusive first episode of gameplay, it's probably what I should be doing right now, but honestly, those take up a bit more headspace, as I've mentioned previously. And since I did get hired even before we took a trip to Idaho, so I've been busy in that arena. In fact, here's a subject for a video, this video, we'll find out. Leaf blower. But what I do, I know I've said I do video. What I do when I do video is typically I'll go out somewhere, I'll shoot a bunch of footage, maybe do an interview, and then come back and put it all together. And I know even just saying that right now, it makes it seem really simple. And some videos are, don't get me wrong. In fact, I like to always leave that option open to the client. I'm like, hey, if you want me to do as little work as possible on this for a very cheap video, just let me know. And oftentimes they don't let me know, probably because I'm too cheap as is for even the good stuff. So in any event, if that sounds simple, it really isn't, although you are in good company. I feel like I meet somebody every other month or so that's just like, you just put the clips together and video. And sometimes you do, again, but most often you don't. In fact, when I get back with all of that footage, let me tell you, editing is kind of a bear. I know people are probably going to be different, fall into different parts of the spectrum here. I bet some people love editing, and not that I hate it, but just when it's compared to going out and shooting some video, you know, even if it's an interview where I've got to do a little bit of coaching or however that goes, it just is so much easier than putting it all together after the fact. And that includes making sure the audio sounds good. Although if you didn't record good audio to begin with, there's not much I can do, certainly. I don't think there's much anybody can do to some extent, but there are certainly people that can do more than I do. But trying to figure out how that all comes together into something cohesive, heaven forbid, tell a story, it's way harder. So that's why oftentimes I will come home with all of the video that I have and sit on it for maybe a week. But honestly, in any creative field, there's this time. In fact, I just read a quote from Taika Waititi that said, sometimes you'll open up your laptop, just stare at a screen for a while, and then close your laptop, and that qualifies as writing. So there's this empty space in any creative field, I feel like, where, yeah, I might bring my footage home and stick it in a locker or put it on my laptop for a week straight, but that edit is processing either in my head to some extent, or I'm gearing up for it, kind of. Because then when I sit down, you're dealing with so many disparate pieces, especially if you don't come home with hours worth of footage, you come home with like 100 clips, you know, so it's kind of one or the other. Either I have to comb through just a solid hour of whatever and pull out the good stuff, or I have 100 clips to deal with and try to figure out how to put those together. Anyway, so I don't feel bad for sitting around for a bit after I get home from a job. But that's why the chasers and gameplay videos are a little bit harder to come by. It's because they occupy a little bit of the same space. So do I want to take a break from doing a bunch of work like that to do a bunch of work like that? Not usually. And if I want to make something good, obviously I'm going to want to put some space between projects like that. So this is all to say that, and I don't want to make it dirty, but Patreon is kind of the answer, right? So if we're looking at a scale, the more Patreon's doing, the less the other one is, and vice versa. So at the moment, I still have to do those other things. And if you're a client, I love them. Thank you so much for your business. So here I am, however many minutes into not having anything to say, and I haven't said the one thing I thought I would say. But it's that I wanted to get one of these out regardless, because I feel like I might disappear again for another week or so here, because I kind of unexpectedly upgraded all of my equipment. I had my eye on a Sony a7S III for a good long month. B&H was out of stock, so I got to just sit on it and think about it. By the time I was done, I was like, nah, there's probably gonna be a new one out soon, right? So I didn't get the camera at the time, but then I got this new gimbal, the DJI RS3, which I've been using the Ronin S for a good long while. But I got that hooked up my a7S II. These are all numbers that mean something. And it didn't do necessarily everything that I wanted it to do. I did check compatibility and it was compatible to a certain extent, but I didn't read it right or something. I don't know. It would have worked fine, but why not buy a brand new camera instead? So I did pull the trigger on the Sony a7S III, which necessitated buying like a $100 memory card all on its own just to be able to take advantage of all the features, because it shoots in 4K, higher frame rate. This is still a 24, but also at 10-bit. So do I look less banded? You tell me. Are there a billion more colors? Absolutely, you can see them all. So that coincided with a new mic setup, which I've been rocking a single lapel mic for some time, so I'm trying out the DJI Mic also here, which comes with two. So that is a nice little package, resisting the urge to become a tech podcast or video. I also got a travel tripod from Manfrotto because I've been using the Element for some time and it keeps coming loose around the joints, and now this won't do that. This is all to say that the final domino in all of these very expensive dominoes is that I now need to sell a bunch of my old stuff to recoup the cost on some of this new stuff. So I'm going to take the opportunity while I do that to rearrange just about everything here, because I'm also getting a desk extension so I can get the L-shape thing that all the business people like and want. It just gives me more room to do stuff. So I'm going to do that, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to hang some new stuff on the wall, maybe give myself some room there. I don't know. I'm still kind of figuring it out. So while I'm doing all that, you can still find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Pick your poison there, and Daily Drum. So if you're looking for, again, a few words from me on a daily basis, that's where they are, or just some good music. Either way, it's both, and drums. So till then, see ya.